And we are ready to go. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chris, and welcome to my channel. We love comics. My name is Chris, and we got not a triple unboxing in the sense of 3 comics in one box, but we have 3 different boxes with 3 different comics in it. And I thought instead of just doing 1 today, instead of doing 2, I thought I would do 3 and do a holy trinity of comic book unboxings for you guys. So while I'm waiting for people to come in and realize I am live, if you look on the AI art in the screen, if you want to make a comment, please do. But you could see, if you see the scrolling at the bottom of the screen, I'm looking to acquire some comics via trade. Comics like Amazing Fantasy 15, Batman 2, Wonder Woman 1, Showcase 4, etc., etc. If you have or know anybody that has those comics, and you would like to do a trade where you don't have to worry about paying taxes, you don't have to worry about buying a comic with money you may or may not have, contact me at peacefulfeelings@yahoo.com and let's make a trade happen. I did a video back in November of last year showing about 30 comics, all graded, that I would be willing to trade, but anything that I have is up for at least consideration. So even if you don't see a specific comic in that video that you would like, please mention any book, and the worst I could say is no, that one's not available for the trade. But I'm going to leave everything on the table, including, if you watch the toy unboxing, I did my last toy unboxing. I have an original Darth Vader Star Wars figure, and that would be something I would also be willing to trade, because I'm just not the Star Wars fan I used to be, so I just don't have the love for it like I used to. So if that's something that makes or breaks a deal, I have no problem including that. So please contact me. Let's get a trade happening. I'm not going to give up until it happens. So, you know, as they say, you know, you fail at 100% of the shots you don't take. So I have nothing to lose and everything to gain with making a trade happen. So let's see if we can get something done. And like I said, it's not just the video that I made in November with the comics that I show. Anything is on the table. You can at least ask and we'll go from there. Also, I want to give a shout out to my Patreon members. I have 4 Patreon members, and this is something that I decided to do from now on. As long as somebody's a Patreon member, every single video I do, I will give them a shout out. I will do just an initial of their name or part of their YouTube name, unless they tell me specifically they don't mind me giving their whole bit of information out. So if you are a Patreon member, and you can contribute as low as $1 a month. So I'm not saying you have to do like a $50 membership. It helps support my channel, and you'll get a shout out every single video. So let's give it a shout out to our 4 Patreon members. We got Carl, we got Sith, we got Scott, and the last one wanted me to let you know that he is on Instagram. So if you have Instagram, go to SilverAgeSurfer_comics and let him know that We Love Comics sent you. And you know, it's something that I want to give back for people that are helping to support my channel. Now, my Patreon, you're not going to see any specific videos or any information there that you have to pay for. I personally do not believe in having people have to buy information. All of my tips and advice and secrets that I have shared over the years are on this channel for free. So the Patreon is just something for people who want to help contribute to supporting my channel and helping me support the 20 or so stray cats that I feed. If you go to Patreon, just go to patreon.com/WeLoveComics, no space. So, with that out of the way, we got a couple of people in the live chat. I always encourage people to join the live chat. You do not have to be a subscriber to do so. All you have to do is leave at least 1 comment, and by the end of the video I always do a surprise subscriber shout out. And like I said, again, you do not have to be a subscriber, but if you want to hit subscribe, that's awesome. Let's say hello to the people that are here. We got Douglas Bobbs, we got Mighty Comics and Collectibles. Thank you for that shout out the other day. It's good to know peer pressure actually does work. But no, all kidding aside, I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Daniel Cochran, one of my moderators, is here. Welcome, guys. And let's put on the video camera. So I got 3 comics. One of them is pretty key. The other 2, you know, I took the chance on because of the price I paid for them. And of course, I'll always disclose not only what I paid, but including shipping and handling and taxes. I give it all to you straightforward. I always tell people that deals are always out there. I think on all 3 of these, I think I ended up, none of them were buy it now best offer. All 3 of these were buy it nows. I contacted the sellers, made an offer, and they actually accepted them. Some go back and forth sometimes, some say no, but you do get the occasion where people will make things happen that were not there at the time. So don't be afraid to communicate with a seller. You never know the reason why somebody's selling something. And if you can make a deal happen, and even if you save 20 bucks, 20 bucks these days can buy you almost a packet of bread at this point. So, with Ridenomics going on, really helping the country be able to part with their money quicker, that's very nice of them, so we don't get bogged down by all the money in our pockets. It'll help you feed your family instead of somebody else's. So make deals happen. Do not be afraid or discouraged if somebody says no and you get it repeatedly. It only needs to succeed once for it to make it worth its while. And I show time and time again that if you communicate properly and with respect and kindness, and if they say no, I've had people actually say no, and I don't just decide to not respond, or I don't respond with a negative, nasty comment. I always say, well, I understand. I wish you luck, but if you change your mind, let me know. And if I still have the funds at that moment, I'll be more than happy to make the deal with you. Contact me anytime. And believe it or not, some people actually contacted me back because they figured this way they don't have to wait. They don't have to worry about somebody that makes a bid and doesn't honor it. They can see somebody like me who has a 100% rating with thousands of different ratings, that I am somebody that's trustworthy, and people will take the chance. So, like Michael Jordan said, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So don't be afraid to take a shot. If you miss and you miss and you miss, the one time you score, you can end up winning the game. So with that being said, let me put on the video camera. And we got the 3 boxes right over here. Let's put it so you can see. I have not opened these up. I just grabbed a couple of them off my shelf because I don't know if you could see. But I literally have hundreds of packages that I have never opened. Some of them that date back to when I was living in New York. Don't ask me why I do it, but I can pretty much safely say that unless there's one I missed, none of them are super mega key. And I just left them to never unbox them. So who knows, maybe 20 years from now there might be this wonderful surprise of a comic that, could have been like New Mutants 98 for 20 years that had no value, and then one day all of a sudden it does. Take the chance. Now this book, it's not a key. It was a minor key at one point. Oh, wow. You can see the indents on the, luckily not on the comic, but on the bag from the bubbles. So this looks really nice. And let's show the first book. So we got Incredible Hulk 377. This is the first Professor Hulk. It is a newsstand variant, but as you guys know, and we're going to double check it, I've been on a tear lately. All right, they really used some super glue tape, so I might have to change the bag. Of a certain type of book. Now this has a lot of damage on the back, but for the price I paid, I don't care. Like some of this is non-color breaking creases. Some of them are color breaking creases that go across. So it's probably like a 6.0 range. But let's make sure it's in there. And there it is. Mark Julas variant. So I don't remember if they mentioned the back with the damage. But again, I didn't pay full price. They had it a specific price. I contacted them because none of these have a best offer. I contacted them and offered them a price, and they ultimately ended up agreeing. They originally had it listed for only $24, which to me wasn't that big of a deal for that price. But ultimately, I got them down to $15. So with shipping and handling, it came out to $22.47. So I think, honestly, not bad, under $25 for a Mark Julas variant of the first Professor Hulk. Obviously, that ship has sailed as far as being a major key. But for that price, for a Mark Julas variant, because that's, there are so many people talk about the amount of comics out there in circulation. Well, if you have stuff like newsstand variants, they're going to be more rare. And if you have things like Mark Jeweller's variants, which obviously not every comic has them, it's basically around the mid-70s to the late 80s. Is this 90s? Doesn't say. But, I mean, there was a good chunk of time where certain comics had the Mark Jeweller's variant. Now, you can't tell by the front of the cover of, like, Bronze Age books for most part. But if you see this on a Copper Age book, that's at least the newsstand. Open it up, because you never know. You might have a Mark Jeweller's variant. And Mark Jeweller's variants are approximately 5% of a total print run. So, it's something you want to take the chance on. You know, not everybody's going to buy them, but that's all right. For that price, you know, even if it doesn't do anything, I could still do decent on that. Because if I could turn around and sell that easily for 25 bucks. Or if I decided one day to get it graded, and, well, like I said, it's probably going to come back like a 6 to 6.5. I could still make a decent amount on that. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to retire on a book like that. But, hey, sometimes you got to have cheaper comics to be able to sell things quickly. You know, remember, places like Costco and Sam's Club, for example, you know, they sell stuff cheap, but they sell it in bulk to have a faster turnaround so you're getting your money fast. I mean, everybody would love to have Action Comics #1 at a 9.0, but not many people are going to be able to afford to buy something like that. And that means it's going to probably be in limbo for a while. All right, so they put some bags and they put some extra boards. That's one of the things I always mention to people. I always ask people if they could put, you know, extra cardboard. So they didn't do that, but they added a couple of backing boards, which really, you know, in the grand scheme of things, don't really do any extra security. But hey, they tried. Not everyone's going to win. This one I thought was a no-brainer to me. This is in nice condition. It's got 1 or 2 minor color breaks on the edge and a little bit of color rub on the top left-hand corner. And this one does have the star. Now, not every Mark Jeweller's variant is going to have this, but there are ones that do, and that's a dead giveaway. But this is Miss Marvel 16, which is the first appearance of Mystique. Now, this is a cameo. There were 2 cameos before her first appearance. 16 is the first cameo, which means it's her first appearance. 17 is the second, and 18 is her first full appearance. Most people go after the full appearance. But hey, for the first ever Mystique, this is supposedly, and we're going to check, a Mark Jeweller's variant. So let's double check. Back looks really nice. It's got a little bit of foxing, minor. This could easily be an 8.0 to an 8.5, between 7.5 and 8.5. And there we go. Here is the Mark Jeweller's variant. So it looks to be off-white pages. And you could see the company name right there. So this person had this listed for $60. I knew this wasn't going to go flying off the shelf. This was a newly listed book. So I made an offer. They didn't even go back and forth. They accepted my initial offer. So I offered $40, so $20 off the price. They accepted it. So with shipping and handling, $49.22. So this is a high grade Miss Marvel 16. Like I said, it is the first appearance of Mystique. Now, the X-Men are coming to the MCU. I would be shocked if they don't use Mystique. And that's going to bring more people back to this book. You know, so many people, like I warn people all the time, they base things on emotion, and they buy when everybody wants something, when the price is too high. And I tell people, just bide your time, and when the price goes down on especially something that would be, I mean, this is a minor key, let's make no mistake, it's not a grail or anything, but, I mean, if Mystique ends up in the MCU, all right, none of these are going to fit, this book is going to go up. And again, because it's a Mark Julis variant, this book is going to get more value because it's going to be rarer than the regular version of the comic. So I cannot stress enough. I mean, rarity is nice, but just because something is not rare does not mean it does not have desirability. One day, Mighty Comics and Collectibles, you'll have to send me a link to a live show of yours. I would love to do a talk about this, because I see you and I see a bunch of people all the time talking about the fact of rarity of comics. And I think people forget that rare is nice, but it doesn't guarantee something is valuable just because it's rare. And also, just because something's not rare does not mean it's not desirable and people will pay through the nose for it. I mean, I'll give you some examples. Mickey Mantle's rookie card is not rare. A signed Babe Ruth baseball is not rare. A Amazing Fantasy 15 is not rare. But yet, if you had the opportunity to get one, a Michael Jordan rookie card is not rare. But people will pay for through the nose for them. So it does not matter how many of something there is. Now, of course, if you have something that's highly desirable and also rare, you're going to pay through the nose for it. That's why there are books, like especially Golden Age books, where you'll spend in the millions for them. Because if there's only 80 of them in existence, and maybe 2 of them are over an 8.5, for example, you're going to pay through the nose for those. But there are plenty of Golden Age books that are rare that aren't worth anything. Well, I can't say not worth anything, but, you know, $20 books. So rarity means very little, but it can be a factor. And also, like I say all the time, if you have a comic that has 1 million print run, and there are 2 million people that want to own that book, that means 1 million people will have to overpay for those books to get somebody to let it go to give to somebody else. Also, when people grade books, how many people have you seen over the years who will crack open a slab to get a better grade? Now, how many of those are still on, for example, CGC's registry? How many of those books over the years have been lost due to a fire or damaged due to a flood? If you had a flood, God forbid, or a fire, God forbid, and your comics, God forbid, got destroyed, you're not going, if you had all CGC books, for example, you're not going, your priority is not to call CGC and say, oh, by the way, all of these comics got destroyed and they no longer should be on the census. So you'll never know what the exact amount is. But again, it is irrelevant. If all of a sudden, tomorrow, somebody found a warehouse that had 10,000 Action Comics #1s, there will be 1 million people that will want those extra 10,000. So will those 10,000 flood the market? It sure would. Would it bring the price down? Maybe 5%, maybe 10%. So you're talking about, instead of $1 million comic, you only sell it for 850,000, for example. Okay, I can live with that. But yeah, and Daniel makes a good point. Like, no one is collecting Gene Autry books. So rarity does not guarantee value, and something that is not rare does not mean it is automatically not valuable. So again, if you want to collect things based on scarcity, Miss Marvel 16 is not going to be worth that much these days. Newsstand is going to be worth a little bit more. It's hard to say with Bronze Age, because just because something's a newsstand, especially in Bronze Age, does not guarantee that it's going to be rarer. It's more of the Copper Age and modern books that have that rarity. But when you're talking a Mark Julis variant, now you're talking 5% an entire print run. Now, last I checked, when there is an entire print run that was 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago, they tend to get lost over the years. They tend to get destroyed over the years. So if a comic originally had 10 million comics, and 5 million of them got lost or destroyed or downgraded because of reading them or whatever, The print run is not going to remain constant. And every year there is a new person. Now, albeit with this generation, it's probably less and less people collecting comics. But with a digital age where people can no longer own anything, there are going to be times in the future when people are going to start collecting comic books again that may have missed out, and now we're going to have to overpay. And I don't think that time is that far away for the newer generations. Because nowadays, you don't own a movie. You just literally download it. You don't own a game. Now, how many games have you downloaded over the years where they stopped, like Xbox Live, for example, if they shut that down, for the original Xbox and Xbox, 360 and yada yada. You don't own them. So physical media, I remember 5-6 years ago, people saying the digital comics were going to destroy the comic industry. How'd that work out? Even if you buy something to download, you don't own it. They can take it back at any time. So, again, there's hypes, there's people, and I'm not suggesting anybody out there is doing clickbait, but there are some out there on YouTube, and I'm not just talking comic book collaborators, I'm talking all over the web, that they'll just do clickbait because it'll get people's attention. That's why my channel doesn't get that much attention, because I don't do clickbait. I don't do misleading titles. I am straightforward, and I tell it like it is, and I use common sense. Now, whether people want to agree with that or listen to that, that's something I cannot change. But I'm telling you, if you want to believe the hype of many people in the comic book community saying that something is overprinted and that means it's not going to have value, if you want to believe those people, then fine, stay away from those comics. And if I find a deal, I'm going to buy them. Like, for example, the idea is to be smarter about it. Is Amazing Spider-Man 300, for example, is that a rare book? It sure isn't. Is it a scarce book? It sure isn't. If it was on sale right now, and let's say a 9.8, just for argument's sake, is worth $1,500. If you saw somebody list an Amazing Spider-Man 300 9.8 for $900, how many of you, if you had the money, would pounce on it the second you saw it? The idea is, don't overpay. If something is common, like an X-Men 266, like a New Mutants 98, wait for a deal. Don't just buy the first one you see, because there are so many of them, you can always find an opportunity. But make no mistake, if you find a book that somebody is selling for under what it's valued, I don't care how many print runs of it there are, people are going to snatch them. And if you're watching this right now, whether you're watching it live or you're watching it later, if a Amazing Spider-Man 300, let's say, was valued at $1,500 9.8, and you knew it was worth $1,500 9.8, if somebody listed a version of that book in a 9.8 for $900, which is $600 under what the going rate is, how many of you would snatch it up, even if you already have 10 copies? The idea is if you make $100 profit on something, that's pretty darn good. If you spend $900 and you sell it for $1,000, in percentage-wise, that's not a lot, but hey, you're making profit. That extra $100, you could buy another book or several other books, and you can build up your portfolio. So many people are so afraid to make moves because they listen to too many other people that I call negative Nancy's, or just don't see things the way they should, and they burn themselves out and regret the fact that they miss an opportunity. I am not one of those people. That's why you see time and time again, I will find deals. Like, I'll give you a prime example. If you saw my last unboxing for my 4 PGX comics, which, by the way, my next 4 should be here tomorrow. Depending on what time they get here, I should be doing a video tomorrow. If not, it will be the day after. But here's one of the books that I bought. Now, I paid, with shipping and handling and after grading fees and all that other stuff, $815 for this book. Amazing Spider-Man 238. This is a newsstand Mark Jewelers variant. It came back a 9.4. Okay, I looked this up. A 9.4 is selling for about $3,000 to $4,000. Many people, when I showed this book, when I first got it and did an unboxing, many people said they would have not spent that money. Well, how many of you now, knowing that the book is worth, let's just say $2,000, how many of you would have bought the book now at $800, knowing that it was going to be worth $2,000? I mean, you'd have to be a fool not to. I see what many people don't see. And for some reason, my channel is not popular because I don't make fancy videos. You know, I don't have all special people on my channel. I don't say what you want to hear. I don't do clickbait. The very few that listen to me do incredibly well with their collections. Those that don't want to listen to me for whatever reasons, the only person you're hurting is yourself. Okay, so let's get to the third one. I saved the best one for last. And if anybody was kind enough to hit the like button, thank you so much for that. Stick around because I will be doing the surprise subscriber shout out. You don't have to be a subscriber. All you have to do is leave a comment in the live chat. And if you want to join my Patreon, you can go to patreon.com/WeLoveComics. And every video I do, you will get a shout out on the video, unless I forget, because, you know, I am starting to get old. But I haven't forgotten yet. And it's as low as $1 a month. So it's not like you have to spend $50 to get the shout out. I'm not going to do that. Somebody's going to be nice enough to help contribute to my channel. I'm going to do something nice back. You know, if the world was like that, we'd be living in a much better world. Unfortunately, more people care about their own pocketbooks and doing things, everything for themselves, than to help the world and wonder what happens when the whole world goes down. It blows my mind, but, you know, as Forrest Gump once said, stupid is as stupid does. Here's another person where I asked if they can do cardboard, and they just put one extra piece of a backing board. You know, hey, I'll use that at some point. This is like a mid-grade, which I knew when I bought it, but even still, let's go over it. Amazing Spider-Man 252. Newsstand. So it's rarer than the regular version, which is not a rare book. And you should probably know by now. And it does have a lot of wrinkling, but a pressing will help that. And it is in Mark Julis variant. Now, you do want to make sure if you get a Mark Julis variant, make sure it has all the pages, because there's more than one. And make sure the coupons aren't cut out. That's important, because I saw one for sale that ended up a quarter of the Mark Julis variant was torn out. So that's an incomplete book. So, Amazing Spider-Man 252. About a 5.0 to a 6.0. Pressing is going to bring it up a little bit. This person wanted $275 for this book, which isn't bad for a Mark Julis variant, but I'm not going to pay full price for something. I contact people, and if they say no, I wish them well and move on and go try and find another one, even if I want a book. But I got them down from $275 down to $200. So with shipping and handling and taxes, it came out to $224.69 for a rarer version of a book that is not rare. Again, go for Newsstand, go for Mark Jewelers, and you won't have to worry about a 5 million print run on a book. But again, even at a 5 million print run, if 10 million people want it, if 6 million people want it, if 5,000,001 people want it, that one person's going to have to overspend. And the thing that people don't seem to get the grasp of when it comes to selling a comic or selling anything, would it be nice to have an auction where 5,000 people every minute were looking at your auction? Sure it would. But how many people can buy your one item? One person. So who cares how many people are looking at the comic or watching the comic or looking at whatever you're selling? You only need one person to make the deal worthwhile. If you look at my auctions, And Daniel Cochran, one of my subscribers and one of my moderators, can attest to this because he's taken advantage of it. I've had many auctions where nobody bid at all. And then somebody came along and made me an offer a day or two later. Of all my auctions that I've done in the past year to 2 years, I sold no less than $5,000 worth of comics. And again, if you check my last auction, I actually shut it down early because not one bidder made, and I think I had 20 different comics, all graded, at very good prices, below what the lowest price on eBay was going for. Pretty much all key issues, because that's all I pretty much will sell. And not one bidder the whole time. But yet, after the auction was over, people contacted me, and I made about $5,000 worth of sales at the time. So, if you want to get discouraged, or you want to listen to people who really just don't have the ability to make money on sales, and will just regurgitate the same nonsense over and over again because they're desperate for views. And again, I'm not calling anyone specifically out. I've seen this all over YouTube. If you want to listen to the ones that are the most popular, that give you the wrongest information, I mean, how many people right now that are big comic book YouTube channels are doing nothing but still promoting CGC as if none of the controversy that was going on has happened? Like, they just want to pretend it no longer exists, and yet they'll still get thousands and thousands of views and thousands of subscribers. But somebody like me who likes PGX because I like the owner, not because I've ever met him or not because we're friends or anything, because we're not. I mean, friendly, but we've never met, we've never hung out. I don't know him personally. If he walked past me on the street, I wouldn't even know who he is. But I like the way that an owner of a company is willing to do deals, was willing to listen to me. And in 6+ years of mailing 4 comics out each and every month, I've never had a comic come back bad, damaged, and I think maybe 4 of the books I questioned the grade enough to have them returned to be regraded, and only one mistake was ever happened, and that was they forgot to put the Hulk 181, that one of the Hulk 181s I sent in did not have the Marvel value stamp, and they did not list it. Now that is a big mistake, but mistakes happen. But there are people who will chastise my channel for that, but yet CGC gets a free pass by big channels, and people just continue to watch them and listen to these people. And people wonder why the world is going crazy. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. So if you want to listen to those that are just really just showing you that they care more about money than anything else, they'll sell their soul and they'll sell their integrity to make sure they make that buck. Go ahead, listen to them, follow them. Pretend CGC is not in the wrong. And then chastise companies like PGX that had one major situation happen about 10 years ago that ended up not even being true, and kill them for the rest of their life. Show me how that's fair. But to each their own. Gary Hahn says, I collect Mark Jewelers. Smart decision. Have books like Hulk 181, Amazing Spider-Man number 129, Tomb of Dracula 10. Wow, yours blows me away. Jeez. And all the sorts. I have a lot of DC, which I find harder to find. Last pickup was DC Presents 26 and Shazam 28. It's funny you say that. Your Shazam 28, is that a Mark Jewelers? Because I actually own one of those, and I've never seen one for sale, and there's none undersold. That is an incredibly rare book when you're talking about Shazam 28, which is the second appearance of Black Adam, first since Marvel Family number 1 back in the Golden Age. So it's his second appearance. If you have a Mark Jewelers, that's pretty darn rare, because like I said, I've tried to find on eBay another version of that comic in a Mark Jewelers. Haven't found one. I thought I might be the only one that has one. So, hey, if you have one, that's awesome. But you guys got some great collections. All right, so that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. You can like it. You can hate it. That's perfectly fine. You could never subscribe to my channel. You can hit thumbs down all you want. If you want to hate one of the few channels out there that cares more about you guys and getting the right thing done, and trying to help you better your collection and stop listening to this regurgitated nonsense. You know, there's an old saying that says, repeat a lie over and over again. I mean, tell a lie. What is it? Tell a lie over and over again until it becomes the truth. I think that's it. Somebody, I'm sure I misquoted it. But, yeah, so Gary Hahn, you have a Shazam 28 newsstand. There you go. Yeah, so he says the same thing. So who knows how many of them are out there. But like I said, if you type in right now, if anybody right now goes on eBay and types in Shazam 28 Mark Jewelers, you won't find any, even in sold at any price. So who knows? Maybe there's 2 in existence and Gary and I have one. Now, again, if that's the case, that's a rare book. How many people want it? Daniel says, Chris, want to sell me your Flash Quarterly number 4? Do I even have Flash Quarterly number 4? This is Flash Quarterly number 3. So it's even better. And I'm always willing to listen to availability of prices, but if it's something where it's just not worth it for me right now, I mean, obviously don't take offense, but as much as I need money, I'm never going to give stuff away, because the whole entire purpose of my collection was to first move from New York to Florida, which I achieved, but to be able to get my wife and I our forever home. So I don't want to be giving stuff away, but hey, if there's a deal that's too good to be true, I'm always willing to listen. So with that being said, let's go over the 3 comics and then we'll do today's surprise subscriber shout out. We got the Incredible Hulk number 377. This is the first print. It is a newsstand Mark Jewelers variant. We have a higher grade Miss Marvel 16, which is the first ever appearance of Mystique. Of course, it is a cameo, and it's 1 of 2, but it is the first time you ever see her at all. Newsstand Mark Jewelers variant. And last but not least, mid-grade or a little bit higher, but still, I'm not going to complain, my second copy of Amazing Spider-Man 252, also in a Mark Jewelers variant. And I have one more big comic. Well, I got so many comics here, I got plenty of videos that I can do. But I do have another major comic on the way. I don't know the few people that watched my video from a couple of days ago, where eBay sent me a special where if I bought a comic, I think it was over either $2.99 or $3.99, I could get it interest-free, for 24 months. So I showed one comic, and I told everybody in that one I got a second one. That should be, they haven't mailed it out yet, so it's probably going to take another week and a half because it's coming from California. But it's another key issue, and made a decent deal with them considering that comic started out at $899 like about 6 months ago, and I turned it down. They came back at $699. I turned it down and made a deal, which I'll talk about once I get it. But sometimes it pays to walk away, and then you never know down the line. I think it was 2 months later, or a month and a half later, I ended up getting a much better deal on a very key issue. A book I have at least probably 15 copies of at this point. So is it a high print run? Sure. But the versions I get, not as overblown. So listen to whoever you want, but listen to a lot of the things I've said and see how I've done over the years. Be careful who you hitch your horse to, which wagon you hitch your horse to. But you're free to do anything you want. So if you like the video, you can hit the thumbs up. If you hate everything I said because you don't like me for whatever reason, even though we've never met and I've never done anything personally to harm you, by all means, the thumbs down button gives me just as much interaction as the thumbs up. So you're actually helping my channel by visiting a channel you seem to say you hate. And let's do today's surprise subscriber shout out. So we're going to go with Gary Hahn, you're number 1 since you said you have a book that I actually thought I was the only one to have. And we're also going to go with Brian Norman. Both of you are today's surprise subscriber shout outs. That means you pretty much know, but just in case for anybody out there, if you have a YouTube channel, once this video uploads, in the comments section, which I hope people will leave comments, because I always appreciate those that take the time to leave a comment on my videos. All you have to do is put a link if you have a YouTube channel or a specific video you want to do. Put that in the comment section. If you don't have a YouTube channel, you'd prefer to put a link to one of your social networks like Instagram or Facebook or whatever, you can do that instead. Or if you sell anything on Amazon, eBay, Etsy, any of those places, as long as it's for all ages, it does not have to be comic book related, but comic book related is probably going to do best on a comic book channel. But as long as it's for all ages, I don't care if you sell t-shirts, I don't care if you have a YouTube video that talks, how to walk dogs, as long as it's something for all audiences, I have no problem with helping you. And I wish more people in the community would actually make this into a community and help one another. I don't understand it, but hey, to each their own. So give our shout outs a shout out. Keep in mind that anybody that got the shout out, if you put the link in the comment section, it will go directly to spam, so you will not see it right away. This prevents any trolls or any spammers out there trying to put inappropriate links onto my channel. So that means I have to verify everything. So if you see a link in the comment section, it means it has been approved and it has been verified. So go check them out. Go support everybody. You never know. There might be a person that has 100 subscribers and they've been looking for 101 and waiting for years to get it. You could make their day. Let's do something positive in this world. It may seem like no big deal to you, but you'd be amazed. There might be a person that's, on the edge of depression and loneliness and just wants somebody to watch one of their videos, and you go and do it and make their day. Let's do something nice. Let's make this world into a better place. And that's why I think, even though I get few people that watch, the ones that do are very loyal and appreciate what I do. And I thank you all for being a part of that. So I look forward to the 3 or 4 comments that people will be kind enough to get. I will appreciate anybody that took the time to either thumbs up or thumbs down the video. And I appreciate you coming here regardless of your motivation. So thanks for watching. Let me know what you think about the comments. Well, you can do that as well, but let me know what you thought about the comics. Did I overspend? Would you have paid that price? Do you think I got a good deal? Let's get some feedback and dialogue going. And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, it is not you. It is not I. It is We Love Comics. Let me know what you think about the AI art. And don't forget to have your trolls spayed or neutered. Again, join my Patreon if you want to help support my channel. As little as $1 a month. I will do a shout out on every single video that I do, thanking you for being a Patreon member. So it's Patreon/We Love Comics. Have a great day, and don't forget to have your trolls spayed or neutered.